I learned about this because you have a video that is actually a really useful video with tips for a photographer who is assigned to go photograph inside the White House. Now, a lot of people come to Washington, D.C., and they contact their Congress member 3 months in advance, and they ask them, hey, can I please take a tour of the White House? And they'll get a chance to go inside. But I think to actually be able to go inside and to photograph an event like you did is something that's really unique. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience and what it was like and what you learned from doing it?
So I've actually photographed inside the White House on 2 different occasions. My employer sent me there to photograph an official state visit, and I, was part of photographing the press conference and the handshakes and all of that fun stuff. And it was actually a pretty cool experience because you're not just photographing the press conference, but you're actually spending several hours in the White House. After you go through security, you have to be in a holding room for a while. And during that time, I was able to walk around the outside of the White House and get really great photos of it from different angles. And of course, the press conference itself was also an interesting experience because, in my case, it was in the East Room, and that's where a lot of the press conferences are held. And, being part of a mob of paparazzi-style journalists is definitely an experience that you won't forget.
So one of the things you mentioned in your video is about step stools.
Yes.
So what is the deal with these step stools and why are they so important?
Yeah, this would probably be more interesting for people that have the chance to photograph inside the White House, but when you're at a press conference in the White House, you pretty much need a step stool to get any sort of view because all the other journalists, they bring their own step stool. And the White House actually has rules on it. I believe your step stool can have a maximum of 3 steps. And if you don't have one, you're going to have all these other reporters like blocking your view. You're not going to see anything. Your photos are not going to be good. And the first year I went, I didn't have a step stool. And I was sort of like taking photos through the cracks of people's arms and stuff like that. But the second year I learned, I brought a step stool. I reserved my space with it because that's the other thing. If you don't have a step stool, your spot is not going to be reserved and you're going to have to like elbow your way through just to get a good view. So definitely bring one for reserving your spot, and 2, just for getting a good view. Otherwise, you're just going to be struggling.
Yeah, and you're a few inches shorter than me, I think. And
a little bit, yeah.
Without a step stool, so now you have to battle against people who are up 3 steps on top of you. I imagine it's like when you're a kid and you go to the movies and some 6-foot-tall person sits in front of you and now you can't see the movie anymore. So that's a really interesting thing that I certainly would have never even imagined, being not a photographer myself. Hey, thanks for listening to this podcast highlight. This is just a small piece of the entire episode. So if you want to hear the whole thing, you can search for Trip Hacks DC in your favorite podcast app. Or head on over to triphacksdc.com/podcast. If you like getting these clips, make sure to subscribe to this channel by clicking or tapping on the Trip Hacks DC logo, which is popping up right now at the bottom of the screen. If you want to watch another clip, go ahead and click or tap up here. Or for Washington, D.C. tips and hacks videos from the main channel, go ahead and click or tap right down here. Enjoy your trip!